Your Excellency, my name is Vanessa Abose, popularly known as Nessa. You've been talking about digitalization a lot, and I want to focus on the infrastructure aspect. Now, when I look at the infrastructure aspect, I see three components. One, high speed when it comes to internet. Number two, data centers. And number three, uninterrupted power supply. Now, when we break it down, this brings me to the questions. Your Excellence, we are still experiencing doomsday. So, if we are still experiencing doomsday, what are you putting in place to make sure that we have reliable power supply so that digitalization will be optimized? B, which is data centers. Data centers will create more jobs for people in the tech areas. What are you putting in place for these people? And last but not the least, when it comes to the internet, we do not have reliable internet for digitalization. Then it brings me to the cost of data. Data is so expensive. The youth are trying so hard to become CEOs. We are posting on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and so forth. But the data is so much. What are you going to do about that? My third question, you spoke about industrialization. And I would like to read what I saw about industrialization. Industrialization is the process of transforming the economy of a nation or region from a focus on agriculture to a reliance on manufacturing. I would like to focus on the agriculture aspect because you said you would like to encourage us to purchase more of Ghanaian-made produce, right? Mr. President, Your Excellency, Dr. Bawumia, Ghanaians are scared about their health when it has to do with the water situation. So, what do you have to say about that so that we Ghanaians can feel safe to purchase our own goods being produced in Ghana so that we don't get affected, especially with the Galamsey water issue? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Vanessa, for those questions, and they're very, very important. I think that you've raised pertinent issues that go to the heart of a functioning digital economy. And I think that if you look at the power challenges that we've had recently, from my understanding, there's been issues with gas supplies, and that has resulted. But I'm told that this situation is about to be resolved, and the problem is being fixed. So we will get more reliable power. I think that is the issue. Data centers, I think that that is key. That is very, very key. As you know, we have through gotten a data center around Apollonia City right now, which is one of the largest that we have in the country. I went to launch it recently because it's very, very important. And we have also said in my manifesto that we've got to build more data centers to do that. So I don't argue with you in that sense. One of the things that what we have prioritized also is fiber optic cable over the last 7 years. Today, I can tell you that 93% of all the NCA licensed fiber optic cable in Ghana was put in place in the last 8 years. 93% was put in place in the last 8 years. That is key for infrastructure. Just a couple of days ago, we launched 5G, which is going to seriously increase the speed. You know, you're talking about, at least 100 times faster than 4G, maybe 1,000 times, and then 100 times more capacity. than 4G. So I think that coming in with 4G, you're going to see major increase in speeds. With 5G, major increase in speeds. In terms of internet penetration, as you have rightly pointed out, one of the barriers for us is cost of data. For all of us, for all the youth that I speak to. And I'm increasingly, I've made the point before, that we should, in this world of digital, access to the internet is we should, in this world of digital, access to the internet is almost seriously very much at par to access to things like electricity. Very, very key. So we need to bring down the cost of data. And if you heard what I spoke about, I said that the allocation of spectrum license, historically we have allocated spectrum on the basis of raising revenue for government. And so when the telcos buy the spectrum on the basis of raising revenue, so they pay, we do a bidding round. So we look for the highest bidder. So we get the revenue. So they have to recover their costs. So the cost of data will go up. So I'm saying, don't allocate spectrum on the basis of revenue, because you have a digital inclusion agenda. So you should allocate the spectrum on the basis of digital inclusion and negotiate with the companies to say, we will give you the spectrum, but you have to lower the cost of data. And we can have a negotiation along those lines to bring down the cost of data. But if you want to charge high for the spectrum, they will also charge high for the data. And so I believe that government should take financial inclusion, and this is what I have in the manifesto, should take digital inclusion as a high priority and not be too focused on raising revenue from spectrum. We should use spectrum to get inclusion, and that is, say, you have to spread your services to these areas at this cost. They are willing to do that. So this is one of the things I want to do with the area of bringing down. And I also want to reduce, eliminate the duties on mobile phones, so that we can bring down the cost of the phones and make them more accessible. I would like, where we are going, I would like to make sure almost everybody has a smartphone. That's basically what it should be, because as you put all these services out there, if people cannot access them, then you don't get the benefit globally. So I think that is where we want to go. I think that you made also a point about industrialization and how we move from agric to manufacturing and the cost of water. I think that this is part of, if you look at the 1D, 1F policy that we brought in, one of the things that was clear is that over almost 70% of 1D, 1Fs were for agricultural processing companies. Almost 70%. We've set up about 169 factories under 1D, 1F, which are operational. But almost 70% of them are agric processing. But it makes sense that they be so, because if you have agric processing, then there's a demand for the produce from the farmers, right? So when I went to the Bono areas, for example, they were talking about the need for cashew factories, because if there is no demand, then the cashew prices are depressed, So once the factories are there to demand those agricultural produce, then you will see better prices for the farmers and so on. So I think that is something that I would like to see more of. Most countries have industrialized through the agro-processing side before you go to the other segments like the cars and so on. The water situation is also very, very critical, and we need to make sure that we control. And this is why I think that the issues about mining in the water bodies through these galamsey activities is just a no, 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 no for our country. And we have to do everything to stop it, because the cost for us, disease and everything, is so high. And this is why we really need to regulate the small-scale mining sector and direct them to areas where gold can be found. Because most of them think that the gold can be found in the water bodies. But you can get into, community mining schemes where the Geological Survey Authority has already identified that there's gold here. So you go there, we give you these mercury-free machines and all of that. So you don't have to go to the water bodies, and it's regulated. And I think that is very, very important that we focus there. Thank you.